Hi everyone, welcome to my attempt to do YouTube. This is a video, a time-lapse of a drawing that I finished recently, which was for Pride, as it is Pride month, and yesterday was indeed Pride. And this drawing is just a little watercolour of my little monsters, who are all called Bernard, and well, you'll see. It is themed. So stay tuned. Wait until the end. You'll see the finished thing. Or go to Instagram, because then you see it there as well. My name is Claire, by the way. Welcome to my channel. Here you can see me sketching out my myriad of Bernards. I'm sketching these on Derwent Lightfast paper, which is a hot pressed paper, which I usually use. I usually really like using for watercolour because it's very smooth. It's recommended for pencils by Derwent, and I really struggled with paint actually on this, as you might see. I mean, sketching on it was really nice, it was really smooth, but I will talk about that a bit more later. And the pencil I'm using, I feel like a makeup YouTuber, and here we can see from my James Charles palette. I'm sketching using a Blackwing Palomino Natural pencil, which Blackwing pencils are like the pinnacle of art pencils apparently, according to a lot of artists actually. They're pretty expensive, but they're amazing. Like, I have a set of these pencils and I've barely made a dent in the one that I'm using here, which is remarkable really considering how much drawing I do. I used to be a full-on mechanical pencil zealot, but since using these pencils, I appear to now have more expensive tastes, so I'm not looking forward to replacing them, but it might be a couple of years yet, so we shall see. Yeah, if you've watched my Twitch streams, you'll know that I am very good at rambling about literally anything, which I'm doing quite well now. I do have a script, believe it or not, sort of, but most of this is just me off the cuff, so sorry about that. If you were hoping for something polished, you have come to the wrong person. But yes, so these are my Bernards. If you are familiar with my art, you will know these little guys. I draw them a lot. I'll do a video in future, if this one goes well, just explaining their origin, where they come from, what they are, why they're so cute, that sort of thing. That'll be probably a future thing, but most of my art in the past sort of 6 months has featured these little guys, and I know a lot of people like them. So I thought, to represent pride and love and acceptance, I'd just go with these guys, because Bernards don't know anything else other than loving what they love, and that should have no boundaries, which is how I feel about pride anyway. But yes, so I'm still sketching. Oh no, now here we go. Yes. Now is the lining. I am far too reliant on outlines. I shouldn't be. I should try doing stuff without outlines, but I just can't. It's too frightening. But I'm lining in a Sakura Pigma. This is an FB brush, so a fine brush, and it's a brush pen. It has a plastic nib, so it's not a proper brush, but it is a brush pen. The ink is very black and it's very waterproof, which, you know, when you're working with watercolour and with paints, that's kind of what you want to go with. Again, using smoother paper. It's hot press paper, like I've already said, but even this pen struggled with it a little bit, so I mean, I'm not complaining. It still did a good job, did what it was supposed to do, but it still felt quite scratchy. I don't know, but like I say, I rely on outlines far too much, and I know you're supposed to go out of your comfort zone and, you know, try things without outlines sometimes, but I just can't do it. I can't do it. But outlining, I'd say outlining is probably the most nerve-wracking bit of any bit of art that I do, just purely because anything could go wrong. Like, I know there are ways of fixing it, but there is that initial panic of, oh my god, what did I do? Oh no, this is going to be unfixable. Ah! It's usually a panic for nothing, but, you know, I still panic. I'm a very panicky person, which comes to us the surprise of no one, really. But I really did enjoy this piece, actually. Obviously it's not finished yet, we're not even halfway through the video. I hope you've, you know, got some snacks and some drinks or whatever if you're enjoying this video, because yeah, I'm still learning how to make an entertaining video, and this might not be it, or it might be, and if it does entertain you, then I'm glad. Good job, well done me, well done Claire. I was drawing this as well. This particular piece I did on one of the hottest days that we've had this week, which for drawing and sketching is not so bad, but when you're working with paint that you want to be wet and to stay wet, it's so hot that it just sort of goes off the page, and you're like, no, wait, come back, please, don't leave me. It was quite entertaining actually editing this video as well, because what you can't see is that I'm watching stuff on YouTube and also having to hop back and forth between drawing and painting and dealing with a highly agitated toddler because it was too hot. And I get it, I understand it, but she picked a very wrong time to be grumpy. Just how dare she. So yes, the irony of making a video for YouTube and watching YouTube. There's nothing special in that. Just, like I say, I ramble a lot. I suppose I should probably talk about a subject, really. Isn't that what art YouTubers do? They make art and talk about something, I guess, rather than rambling like a moron. Okay, I guess we'll talk a little bit about... Oh, no, never mind. Haha! Painting saved the day. So this is when I started layering the background colours down. I would list all the paints that I used, but I use a lot of handmade watercolour from various different creators. We'd be here all day if I listed what I used in this video alone. If you're interested in the colours though, then feel free to hit me up and say, oh hey, I liked that pink or that blue, or I liked this, what you used in the timestamp, and I will happily tell you not only what the colour is, but who made it and where to get it from, if you can still get it, because a lot of these are sort of like limited releases. In this particular bit I'm doing the wet on wet technique, which is basically I've wet the paper and I'm putting wet paint on it to give it that dreamy, soft watercolour look. And it can be a bit risky because obviously you know, you can control the water and you can control the paint, but the paint is going to do what the paint wants to do. The paint does what it wants, and I respect it, but also I get frustrated at it. But for the background I wanted to kind of invoke some of the colours that are used in the trans flag. So we've got the lovely pink, we've got the lovely blue, and obviously we've got patches of white through the paper. I did a bit of purple as well, because, you know, purple's just a really nice colour. And we here at Claire Likes to Doodle, when I say we, I mean me, Claire, we support trans rights, okay? You don't like that, go away. Or, you know, at least subscribe and then go away. But yes, this is where I struggled because of the heat, because I was having to re-wet the paper, then re-wet the paint, then re-wet the paper, re-wet the paint, just because it was evaporating, or at least it was drying. The paint was drying, the water was evaporating. It was a bit more uncontrollable than normal. And again, as I've said previously, it's hot pressed paper, so it's smooth, it's nice. but again, it just didn't really want to cooperate with paint. It was actually quite a bit scratchy, I noticed, once the paint started going on. But as I say, Derwent, who make this paper, it's marketed as a paper for pencil, so I guess that's where it would be more successful. I just assumed that it was a hot press paper. I'd be, you know, fine to use it. As you can see as well, I've taped down the paper. So what I tend to do is I will soak the paper completely after lining, after erasing, after doing all that, and then while it's quite wet, I will tape it down to a drawing board and go from there, because what that helps with is the buckling of the paper, which you will see a lot with watercolour. It's you know, it's standard, but what you basically want to do is stop it from buckling, so you give it no room to buckle, I think is what I go for. I think it's what you're supposed to do anyway. I might be making it up. I'm not a professional. I'm sorry. I'm using a lot of different brushes here, so I'm using some Dale Rowney brushes because they're quite cheap, they're quite affordable. You can get them pretty much anywhere that sells paint brushes, but you'll see later on I use, well, I'll point them out when I'm using them, my particular favourite brushes. These brushes are all synthetic as well. I've been trying to swap out from sable brushes. I know sable and squirrel hair and other, I think badger hair as well, or have I made that up? I might have made that up. I know that those types of hair in watercolour brushes are the best, but I don't think that there are any ethical ways of getting sable hair and farming sable hair, so I want to keep it as cruelty free as possible. Same with my paints. A lot of the paints are vegan friendly. A lot of them contain honey, but ethically sourced honey, so maybe not strictly vegan, but trying to keep it as cruelty free as possible is the aim. You know, little steps to make things a little bit better. So I'm just adding in some more paint, some more layers around my little Bernards, just to fill in some of the whites. And you can see probably on the one on the left a little bit has bled into the Bernard. This is a problem with wet on wet sometimes, and again because I was struggling to keep control of everything because of how hot it was. And like I say, you can't tell because of editing magic, but I was hopping between painting and trying to soothe a very angry toddler who did not understand why it was so hot and why she couldn't sleep because it was so hot. I am a slave to a small person, as every parent is really, especially when it comes to toddlers. They don't care. They also do what they want, very much like my paint here. But as you can see, I've kept the colours very simple. It's the pink, it's the blue, and also the purple, and it's got that quite nice, soft, dreamy, very, very characteristic watercolour look. I almost sound like I know what I'm talking about. Don't be fooled. I know nothing. But it was quite nice just to even this out. I never used to do backgrounds first. I always used to do foreground details first. But then somebody, I believe it was my husband actually, mentioned, oh, I really like how you do the foreground first. And I realised, oh, it'd be much easier if I did the background first. Again, I tell you, not a professional. I just, I potter on and I do my best. And I think that's all you can do, especially when, you know, you barely know what you're doing. So while my daughter was being finicky, I finished off the background, and then I painted their little horns and their little feet, the little Bernards. And now we're going in with the rainbow colours, which is the Roy G. Biv traditional colours. The paintbrushes I'm using here, that I mentioned before, are by a brand called Betty Hayways. They are beautiful brushes, based here in the UK. They are ridiculously beautiful in of themselves. I mean, look at that oil slick handle, it's gorgeous. They are expensive, You can buy the set. I got my set on Black Friday, so I saved a heck of a lot of money just by buying them then. But they are cruelty free, synthetic, so they are great. And obviously if you look after your brushes, they'll last a very long time anyway, which, you know, is what we want. We want them to last a long time, so all it takes is just looking after them properly and you'll be fine. So again, just going in with more paint. So as I say, we're following the traditional rainbow. Again, if you like the look of any of these individual colours, just hit me up with a message and say, oh hey, I think that's really pretty, where did you get it from? And I'll be more than happy to share that information with you, because it's not like a secret. I think anyone that sort of acts like art supplies or techniques or styles are super top secret. They need to just stop a bit. Really, there's nothing wrong with sharing techniques, materials, you know, how you've done something, who you followed. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. We should be sharing knowledge and getting each other to make things, rather than being like, no, this is my secret. You're not Michelangelo. You can calm down. That's fine. So one of the things that's been going on a lot for me right now is obviously because we've been in lockdown. I've been trying to create as much art as I can, especially, like I say, featuring a lot of Bernards. And it hasn't actually been really a conscious thing. It's been more of a, oh hey, I feel like drawing this thing, then I feel like painting it, and it's definitely been quite nice for me. I feel like I've been able to practice a lot of skills, a lot of you know, a lot of things that I've been trying to keep on top of. And probably the past couple of weeks to a month, I've been letting that slip a lot, and I've been feeling it, to be fair. Art, it might be something that I do as a profession, believe it or not, but it's also something that brings me joy, and not doing it, I've felt that a lot. So it's nice to do things like this, just something nice, something simple, but something that also comes from the heart. And I've seen a lot of wonderful, very inspiring Pride artwork recently, which is amazing, quite frankly. But I wanted to do my little twist, which was always going to feature a Bernard. It was always going to feature some sort of Bernard. And I definitely think Pride is something that we still need to celebrate, even in these times that I can't really go into too much detail of, but you know what I'm talking about, because if I mention anything bad, YouTube will come and get me. I think that's how it works anyway. But we need to take happiness and joy where we can, and also just celebrating who you are, being proud of who you are, and loving who you love, and just being happy in yourself. So here is the final product. I finished off screen because, well, off video, because of said daughter. But all I did really was I added some little hearts, some little details, and I outlined my little beasts, my little Bernards, in a gold gel pen, a Uniball Signo pen, and I tidied up the black lines as well with just a Micron fine liner. It gave it a bit of shine, gave it a bit of dimension, and I feel like it really finished it off, which is something I like doing with my pictures. So there you go, there is the final piece. Thank you very, very much for tuning into this video. I hope to make more content soon. If you like this, give it a thumbs up. If you like the channel, give it a subscribe. And that's it really, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!